Friends, enemies, behold a review of the Sony a6500 for vlogging. Yeah, let's roll that intro. It's the a6500. Okay, so what do you need to know about this camera when it comes to vlogging? You need to know that this is basically a Canon 1DX Mark II Lite, aka Peter McKinnon's cheat machine. You know, the like $6,000 camera that then he puts a $2,000 lens on. He's like an $8,000 vlogging rig before accessories. And we're like, man, his footage is amazing. Well, it would be amazing with anything he shot because he's good at what he does. But the camera certainly helps. And this is the vlogging rig for people who don't have that kind of budget but want to shoot that kind of film. If that is you, this is an amazing, amazing camera. If you want to be Casey Neistat, I'm actually not sure this is a camera for you. But if you want to be Peter McKinnon, this is the camera for you. To be fair, I just wanted to have both of their lives mashed into one. So the things that are real positives for the Sony a6500, I mean, one is it's got a good sensor. Now, we're not going to get all technical here or anything like that, but it's a big, good size sensor. Somebody like a Casey recently switched from Panasonic back to, he's going to do Canon thing. But one of the problems with the Panasonic is they have this small sensor. It means two things. One, it's not as good in like lower light situations when you don't have as much light, which when you're vlogging, it happens a lot. And two, you can't blur the background as much. You know, like you see me right now, see how the background's blurry? It's easier to do that on a bigger sensor. So this has a bigger sensor than that. It's not quite as big as the sensor on like a 1DX Mark II. Again, that's a big full frame camera, but it's a good size sensor. Two, focusing. The a6500's focusing is unreal, really. It's amazing the way that it can track focus, even if you're shooting in super slow motion, which we're going to talk about in a minute, and you put on a lens that can make the background super blurry, the focusing just works. And it's the only reason that you can kind of get away with not having a flip out screen. I would love to have that and more on that later, but the focusing just seems to always be spot on. Tracks faces, does amazing things, so people are always focused on what they need to be focused on, i.e. your mug when you're vlogging, and if you whip it around, whatever you're showing off will be in focus very, very quickly. It's fantastic for that. The big thing that is so popular, again, thanks to my best friend in the whole world, the guy I've never met, Peter McKinnon. 120 frames per second. What this means is if you're shooting like cinematic style vlogs at 24 frames per second, you can slow it down 5 times slower than normal. And that's where you get those wild cinematic shots that look like so smooth and so silky because they're just going at such a slow pace. Very few other cameras can actually do 120 frames per second, and this one does it, and the quality of it looks quite good. So 120 frames per second. 4K is the other thing. If you want to vlog in 4K, you can do that. This camera's 4K quality is really, really good with one caveat, which is when you're whipping the camera around or moving a lot, you get what's called rolling shutter. And it kind of looks like it's jiggly or shaky, or your straight lines will get a little bendy. That's just kind of the nature of a big sensor putting out 4K, and it's not like a $7,500 camera. But it still shoots 4K, it still shoots nice. And again, we're gonna have some links below here, guys. Check out the links below. I'm gonna have a vlog with 4K with this ultra wide angle lens. We're gonna have a link to a vlog in 4K with the kit lens. And there probably will be other links below. So make sure you check those out for some additional resources so that you can actually like believe that I know what I'm talking about, because there are many things in life I have no clue what I'm talking about. But this is definitely something that I know what I'm talking about. So quality of video, great, 4K, 120 frames per second. It's got the audio input jack, so you can put in a microphone, which is nice. Other than that, like those are really the positives for that. This is a really nice kind of more like filmmaking visual style. If that's what you're into, this is a fantastic camera because you can whip out these crazy visuals very, very quickly in super slow motion or in super high resolution 4K, and then cheat little pans and slides and zooms and do all sorts of other things with this camera. The negatives. Let's talk about that, because there's always upsides and there's always downsides with this. One, which is the most annoying to me, is that the screen doesn't flip out in any kind of way that you're able to actually see what is going on. So you're basically shooting blind all the time when you're talking to the camera. Turn it around, obviously you can see the screen. Except for if you're shooting in 120 frames per second or 4K, which is a big part of the reason why I use this camera. It has to dim the screen because, I don't know, it gets too hot and sucks the battery life out of it. So it dims the screen, and if you're outside, it can be really hard to see the screen. So it's not that you're shooting blind. You can kind of see the screen. You can use the other little controls to see if what you're shooting is okay. Or the other thing you can do is always just like stick your eye in the eye finder. Is that a weird thing to say? Electronic viewfinder. Do that and you can just see. And that's sometimes what I'll do just to check, is just to look in here, because in here is way brighter. So no flip out screen. Other things I can say about it, everybody talks about Sony's overheating. Do they overheat and shut off? Yes. Has it ever once happened to me while I've been vlogging? No. Because these cameras, they cool down fairly quickly, and they do fine, provided that you're not shooting 30-minute clips at a time, which if you're shooting 30-minute vlogging clips at a time, you got issues. Unless maybe you're doing like some crazy time lapse or filming an important family event, in which case it might be important. But for normal vlogging, guys, especially as you get into it and you get fast at it, you just kind of shoot the shots that you need. You shoot for a minute here, you shoot for 5 minutes there, you shoot for 2 minutes here, shoot for a minute. As you give the camera that breaks, I don't run into overheating issues, but you certainly can run into battery issues. So the battery life on this camera, not good, especially if you're in 4K or 120 frames per second. The battery life's not good, but here's the thing. I got one of these things, the RAV Power. I'll put the links below. I got 2 batteries and a charger for like $39 Canadian. And I don't actually know the difference. I apparently have a Sony battery in here with the RAV Power, and anyway, they both just work, and they work well. So you can buy cheap knockoff batteries, fill them full. They're tiny, they don't weigh anything. Keep a couple in your pocket or your bag or whatever's coming with you, and you'll be fine. So battery life, like, yeah, it's not good, but I've bought cheap batteries, and then I'm fine. So I think that's mostly the negatives. The only other one is colors. The Sony colors, sometimes when you're seeing my face, even this is a cheap Sony camera, I can't even hack the colors the way I'm going to tell you how to hack the colors. It's okay, but skin tones can look a little bit funny. Good news for you guys. I've just tried this out, and I'm really happy with the results. Again, I'll link to the latest vlog that'll mention the colors. You can get the EOS HD something colors. Anyway, you basically pay 20 bucks US, and this guy gives you a sheet of a custom, 5 custom color settings you can put in here that mimics more of the Canon colors, which just make skin tones look really nice. Anyway, I was really happy with the way the last vlog looked. That's not perfectly out of camera. I did some tweaking afterwards, but much, much happier with the way the colors come out of the camera. So before that was kind of a negative. Now there's a workaround, just costs you an extra 20 bucks, which if you're paying whatever, $1,000 and some dollars, whatever this is in the US, here in Canada, I think the body's $1,600, maybe it's $1,350 in the States. You've got some budget, okay? But let's talk about the things that make it kind of better for vlogging. I mentioned already, like a microphone. The onboard microphones on any of these cameras, not good, okay? Not good, don't use them. This Rode Video Micro is $59. Links below. Hey, I'll get like 3 cents if you buy it. They work, like it just works. This is what I use. I don't feel the need to get a Rode Video Mic Pro or anything else. This mic just works. So make sure you get a microphone. Any kind of microphones are going to be good. This one comes with the big thick wind socks. You don't get the noise. That's good. Next thing that you're going to need, well, let's talk about this. This is one of my favorite things for vlogging, is an ultra wide angle lens. This is the Sony 10 to 18 millimeter. No focusy. Sony 10 to 18 millimeter f4. It's not cheap, but it gives you that super ultra wide angle perspective where you're fitting a lot more of stuff in the frame, which can be really nice for that kind of storytelling element, that people can tell where you are and what you're doing, and you're not like directly locked in your face. That's something, but you don't have to have this. Again, link below. I did a vlog with this kit lens, which, I mean, it's kind of trade-offs. What's nice about this KISS lens, is that you can zoom in a lot farther. And so you can zoom in on things and show a slightly different story. You don't get quite as wide, but 16 millimeters on a Sony would be the equivalent of about 14 millimeters on a Canon-ish. And so that's like a Canon crop sensor. But anyway, it's good. You know, it's a good little lens. It's not all that sharp, but for starting out and telling good stories, it works fine. Again, there's a link to a vlog below. You can see the whole thing shot with this lens right here. So we got batteries, we got extra lenses, and if you really, really, really feel the need, like maybe I do, to try and figure out how do I get a selfie screen because I'm so vain I just want to stare at my face the whole time, well, you can always add on a monitor. I actually traded an old synthesizer I had for this is a 4-inch small HD monitor. They don't even make this anymore, but I'm just waiting on some batteries for it. But this will attach to my little rig. I've got this small rig. You don't have to get this little metal cage on here. And I'll be able to plug it in and actually be able to see myself. Now, if you're like me and you like having full control over the manual aspects of your shutter speed, and yeah, buddy?
Mom, can you unlock because I'm going to bed?
This one? Okay, here you go. Okay, I'll be right out, okay? Duty calls. Where was I? Oh yeah, right. So if you like shooting in full manual control, these monitors are just handy because you can see that your exposure is perfect. But if you're the kind of person who you're letting the camera do any bit of automatic settings, I don't know if this is as important. There's just times where, especially in the last vlog that I did, I was trying to set up lots of the shots and really kind of control the light to try and create a little bit better quality. This came in handy, but even if you're around your office or something, the camera plugs into, it's got an HDMI out. You can go right into, I've got a 21-inch cheap LCD monitor right here, big one, and you can see what's going on. So there's definitely other ways around that. But yeah, recap. 120 frames per second, good. 4K, good. Picture quality, good. Blurry backgrounds, good. No selfie screen, bad. Colors, workaround, rolling shutter, a little bit sketchy. I don't know, but overall, am I happy with it? Yes, I am very happy with the camera now that I've figured out a couple of these things. Colors was one of them, but being able to shoot at 120 frames per second, give that good cinematic element, finding other ways to be able to monitor yourself if that's what you need, I think it's good. It's a good camera. A good camera. It's not perfect. None of them are. Hope that review helps. Make sure to check out some of the other content. It'll hopefully give you a little bit more perspective. I need to burp. Excuse me. Anyway, I'm Justin. That was a high energy review. I'm going to go put my son to bed. Good night.